Now, I want to tell you a little bit about intensive care because this is an area in hospitals that most people will never access. The only way you're going to access intensive care is if you're badly, badly sick, if you work at the hospital, or if you're visiting someone who's in intensive care. Now, if you're visiting someone, you get to see a controlled environment where you go in for, 15 minutes, 20 minutes for your visiting time, and then you get escorted out. When I got to intensive care, I had a tube inserted into me right here, right? Through that tube, they were feeding me medicine and the stuff to feed you, right? It's going in through here. Then I got 5 strobes in my chest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with wires coming out, connected to a machine that's reading my heart, activity, and other stuff. And then I got this tube coming out my kizak for me to pee. And that's hooked to some type of bag where the urine goes into. So I want you to think about that. A tube coming out of here, connected to 2 different things. 5 wires coming out of here, connected to a machine. And then out my kizak, I got that hose connected to that bag. So basically, my whole body's hooked to something, and I'm laying in a bed. Now, number 1, I could barely move. Because any direction you move, you got stuff tugging you from all over. That's number 1. Number 2, because of the bacteria that I have, I'm in extreme pain. And number 3, in my specific case, what I had, they had to have me isolated. So I was isolated from everyone else that was in intensive care. It's like big cubicles next to each other with a bed and everything, the whole setup. But in my case, I was separate from everyone else in a little room in the back. Not little, it's not very small, but it's a room in the back where everything is closed. And I only get to see the people who are bringing me medicine. And so I'm seeing doctors and nurses. I cannot tell you psychologically what that would do to someone who isn't strong enough to handle it. Luckily for me, I'm very strong when it comes to that. But I saw people in there literally breaking down mentally. I could hear them breaking down mentally. Now I want you to think about this. Try to imagine you being in extreme pain, hooked up to a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot. Wearing a pamper because you're going to shit on yourself, and somebody's going to come later and change you like you're a baby. You have to have a stranger go back there, take that pamper out, wipe your ass, and put another pamper on you. Try to imagine what that feels like. You're in pain. You feel humiliated. You feel like you ain't shit. You can't do absolutely nothing for yourself. Not to mention, you can't eat. Everything that you're going to eat will be fed through right there in the form of liquid. Once you're there, you have no say, obviously, in what you eat, in what you drink, and even with regards to can you get up, can you sit down, can you move. every single movement of yours is controlled by somebody else. Everything. That's why I compare it to jail. Anyone who's been to jail knows you eat when you're told, you take a shower when you're told, you do everything when you're told. Same exact thing in intensive care. The only difference is that you're tied up to a bunch of stuff, you're in horrible pain, and most of the people there don't give a damn about your pain. We gave you your medication, that's on you now from here on out, buddy. So they're going to charge you a shitload of money and still treat you like shit. That's intensive care. Try to imagine me at 2 a.m. screaming in pain. Yo, y'all gonna let me fucking die. I'm gonna fucking die. Somebody help me, please. I'm talking about I was screaming so loud, every single person in intensive care could hear my voice. And I had a nurse go to the back where I was at, isolated, and tell me, yo, the pain medication we gave you is every 8 hours. And we just gave you that 2 hours ago. You gotta chill. And walk away. She said those words and walked away. Now imagine hearing that while you're in extreme pain, cables coming out of here, cables coming out of your chest, and another shit coming out of your kizak. And that's what you get. Yo, you gotta wait. I literally thought that I was gonna die that night. I was like, yo, these motherfuckers gonna let me die. And I screamed so much and so loud that eventually they got a doctor. Doctor went in there to see me like at 3:30 in the morning. And he saw me screaming in pain. And he's like, yo, where do you feel that pain? And I told him, right here, right there, look, right there. Like, right there, man, right here, I can't move. And I was still screaming in front of him. He touches me there. I feel a lot of pain when he touches it. He pushes in a little bit. And then he tells someone else, yo, he got something going on in there. Get him this, and that. They got me some medication that was so powerful that when they injected it into the tube right there, within probably 15 minutes, I passed out. That's what I needed all along. I've been screaming off the top of my lungs for hours. I'm talking about in extreme pain, my peoples. Finally, that doctor gave me what I needed. Gave me some strong medication. I passed out. Cool. The next day when I wake up, a couple hours later when I wake up, I was in extreme pain once again. Horrible pain. Now here's another component of that first night in the ICU. At about 11 o'clock at night, because I have no choice, I shit myself. Now, you can't even imagine the feeling of you tied up here in your chest, down there, laying down in a bed, shitted on yourself. And you can't even sit up to clean yourself. You got to sit there and wait for somebody to come clean you. I called the nurse and I told her, and she was like, well, is it a lot? And I was like, I don't think so. And she was like, well, let's wait a little bit more because you're probably going to do some more so I could clean you later. I was like, all right. But I said that because I was in so much pain that I didn't want to argue with this lady. She got a nasty attitude already. She leaves. Like at 1 a.m, I shit myself again. I call for her. Nurse. Nothing. All the lights is dark. This bitch went to sleep. So while she's sleeping somewhere back there in some empty cubicle, I already shitted on myself twice. So I'm laying down in pain and full of shit. But that's not even the worst of it. At around 2 something in the morning, I shit on myself again. So now I shitted on myself 3 times. And I'm laying in there with that pamper. I'm laying in shit. And it's diarrhea. So it's liquid shit. Hot shit. And I'm just laying on it. Ain't nothing I could do. Try to think about what that would do to someone psychologically. All this shit over here. I'm feeling it in my ass. I'm feeling it in my balls. I'm feeling it on the sides. And I can't even clean myself. When the nurse finally shows up, the first thing she asks, did you do more on yourself? And I said 3 times. She responds, well, I told you earlier to call me when you did it again. Bitch. I didn't tell her this, but I'm thinking inside myself, bitch, I done yelled your name like 50, I done yelled nurse like 50 times. Your ass was sleeping. But I digress. She proceeds to tell me, okay, let me change the pamper for you. She pulls it out, goes like that with a little bit of the paper. And the sheet that I was wearing, which has shit on it, she covered me with that shit again. So now I'm covered with a sheet that's dirty with shit. Basically, yo, that lady, she did the least possible and left me dirty with shit. Like, she didn't clean me right. She did take out the pamper, did replace it with another one, but she left my ass cheeks full of shit, yo. Left a blanket full of shit. To the point where the nurse that came in at 7 in the morning, she's supposed to bathe me. And when she took off the pamper to give me a bath, she actually felt sorry. She was like, oh my God. Yo, she cleaned the shit that was remaining there from the night before, bathed me, and then even put some cream in my ass. Like, yo, let me put something on you, cuz, so you don't get messed up. Now you imagine, the stuff, I got a 3-year-old son, right? He stopped using pamper recently. But the same stuff that I was doing to my son for the first 2 years was now being done to me. I had to, if you have a baby, you have to wipe their ass properly so that they can be clean. I had someone doing that to me. So that was my first night, being full of shit and nobody that would clean my ass, until the following morning when somebody actually felt bad for me. Finally, the doctor sent me to do some tests, and that's how they found out that I had that second bacteria, which was eating away my gallbladder. Voila. That's the pain that I was experiencing at night. My gallbladder, luckily for me, it didn't explode and there wasn't shit all over my interiors, which would have killed my ass.